This is ABC7 News at 6. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Bilges. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thousands from around the country flocked to Washington, D.C. last weekend. Among them were law enforcement agencies from here on the Suncoast. But as ABC7's Bobeth Yates shows us, their presence was all business and no play. Bobeth?
Yes, there was an open call to secure the D.C. area during inauguration weekend, and our law enforcement agencies from the Suncoast volunteered their services.
Preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
The historic moment marks a new chapter in American history, and Suncoast law enforcement agencies were on hand for the experience.
That I will faithfully execute all lawful orders.
This swearing in is for officers from Northport, Sarasota, Holmes Beach, Bradenton, and Palmetto police departments, as well as Manatee County Sheriff deputies. The group joined the thousands of law enforcement officials from around the country who went to D.C. to perform inauguration detail.
Once we got there, they bussed us into the National Armory. We were all sworn in as U.S. Marshals.
Lieutenant Lori Jarris of the Sarasota Police Department says the 11 officers from SPD were stationed along the parade route. And while they worked long hours, it was all for the greater good.
It was like an adrenaline rush because you were watching people, and whether you're a Trump supporter or not, we wanted to make sure everybody went home at the end of the day.
Jarris says their responsibility included watching protesters to ensure no one tried anything. And if they did, law enforcement was prepared to react.
Where we were to watch the people in front of us, and that was our only job, is to watch people in front of us. If they were to jump the fence, our job was to keep them back. So the whole day was it was intense because you're just watching the whole day to make sure that nothing bad happened.
And as the president and vice president drove by on the parade route, Jarris says the moment became surreal.
To be there to watch him being sworn in was a great experience and something I'll cherish the rest of my life.
While in D.C., they learned some new crowd control and policing strategies they hope to someday implement in our area. Back to you.
Thank you, Bobeth. A Sarasota County Sheriff's deputy finds himself on the wrong side of the law.
Frankie Bybee, an 18-year veteran with the Sheriff's Office, is accused of trying to kill an elderly woman, among other charges.
The Sheriff's Office says Bybee had recently befriended a 79-year-old Sarasota woman. He allegedly stole at least $65,000 from her and is accused of trying to kill her by poisoning her with carbon monoxide. This all happened at her home on Brockton Lane. Bybee is now behind bars without bail.
I think it's important to relay to the public that Bybee's actions not only do not reflect the nearly 1,000 members of this agency who represent it every day, who are around kids, who are out there in the public, who this community has trust in. The integrity and the honor of this agency is not reflective of Frank Bybee's actions.
Bybee faces a charge of attempted murder among many other charges. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 11.
Severe weather targeting millions across the country. It's from the same violent weather system that spawned tornadoes across the Deep South over the weekend, killing nearly 20 people. Albany, Georgia, one of the hardest hit areas. Officials there are calling on the federal government for help.
The damage that has been suffered by this community, it is immeasurable. We have a lot of people that have been separated from their families, that have no homes, no food, no warmth, and no hope.
Cleanup is also underway in Miami-Dade County in South Florida. Overnight, a tornado left a path of destruction there. Police had to block off one area as they worked to get power lines and tree branches off the roadway. The Red Cross is helping those affected. And on the west coast of our country, Southern California bracing for more flooding. Mudslides as one of the biggest storms in years is winding down there. I mean, they wanted their drought to end, but I don't think they wanted it that way.
It's amazing how it switched from such a drought to so much rain, such a swing there.
Of course, last night around this time, we were dealing with a tornado warning at this point.
Definitely different weather conditions this evening. We're going to head over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for an update.
That's right. Last night we did have a tornado warning, a water spout really detected off there in the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like it went back up into the storm just as it was moving through the southern end of Longboat Key. Thankfully for that, we did have some strong gusty winds around throughout the day. The strongest gusts at the Venice Municipal Airport, 54 miles an hour, 47 at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. And that was with a non-thunderstorm. That was just the wind gusts that we saw. And winds were gusting up to 40 to 50 miles an hour on Anna Maria Island. This is from Casey Key. You can still see those waves are very high. Rip current advisory remains in effect for all coastal waters. On top of that, a high surf advisory, small craft advisories will stay with us through tonight and throughout tomorrow morning. And then as far as sustained winds go right now, they're still strong out of the west-northwest, anywhere from 20 to almost 25 to 26 miles an hour, 24 now at Bee Ridge, 25 at Siesta Key, and 23 now in Inglewood, the same in Minnesota Beach, Venice at 22, and Port Charlotte at 19. Now, these are sustained winds. We've had gusts as high as 30 just within the last half hour. So I mentioned all those advisories are still in effect. For coastal waters, they will be actually expiring tomorrow in the afternoon as winds will start to calm down. The gusts will still stay strong up until maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then things will start to calm down considerably. A much better forecast for you on Tuesday. We'll have all the information on that and the rest of the work week coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. A group of lawmakers just announced it's planning to fight for voter-approved money to protect waterways in North Florida. The Senate president wants to use that money and clean waters in South Florida instead. Some politicians fear that plan could potentially shift money away from protecting waters in the northern part of the state. A coalition calling themselves Stand Up for North Florida says water projects in South Florida already have received a lot more money than other parts of the state, and proposals for the 2017 legislative session look to continue that trend. Some say the Senate plan does not work for the entire state.
Other parts of South Florida, parts of Central Florida, parts of North Florida, Jacksonville cannot benefit from conservation dollars that are sorely needed. Florida cares very much about the Okeechobee. We also care very much about the whole state.
Senate President Joe Negron's proposal is to buy sugar industry land as part of an effort to store and clean water and reduce releases from Lake Okeechobee into the St. Lucie estuary. The plan would require a 50-50 funding match between the state and federal government to buy that land.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, as the number of visitors grows locally, so does the need for more hotel rooms. We'll tell you more about the plans to build a hotel near the Bradenton Area Convention Center in Palmetto.
And why a European company is testing its product right here on the Suncoast and looking to make shopping more simple for families.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I'm Alan Cohn. Solidarity on the Suncoast. Americans unite after Trump's inauguration, calling for peace and unity in these tumultuous times.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair, where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Palmetto officials say the Bradenton Area Convention Center has needed a hotel for decades now. Manatee County and the city of Palmetto are coming closer now to a deal to make it all happen. The groups are talking about building a new 250-room Sheraton hotel. Manatee County would pay for the majority of the cost. The city's Community Redevelopment Association will decide whether to take part in the project in a meeting tonight. Palmetto City official Jeff Burton says with a 24-year projection, it would pay dividends for the city.
And we're looking at somewhere between $800,000 and about $2 million worth of increment above and beyond the $8.5 million that we would pay up front.
If approved, construction on the center is expected to start later this year and then be done by late 2019. And Central Florida also preparing for more visitors by building new hotels near Orlando. 9 new hotels are expected to open this year. That will create about 1,300 rooms for tourists. Hotel tracking company STR says there's even more construction planned in the future. More than 25 additional properties are expected to open in 2018, and that would bring another 5,200 rooms to Orlando, Kissimmee, and Sanford.
A Paris-based company is testing new technology here on the Suncoast. Transdev is one of the world's leading public transit companies. The company is partnering with Benderson Development to show off its Easy Mile shuttle. It held a demonstration today at the mall at UTC. It brings people around an area without a driver.
To kind of design its route so that it knows where to go. It has sensors on each corner. And it has on top a laser guidance system. So it's kind of mapping the whole area the whole time, looking at the community, looking at what's going on.
The trolley holds up to 15 people, and the team believes that the trolley could service shopping centers locally, which would be helpful in that UTC area.
Yeah, you just park one place and then take the trolley wherever you want to go if you're going to hit multiple stores.
I like that idea.
Yeah. All right, we're going to find out what's ahead this work week in the forecast, so stay with us.
I'm Alan Cohn. Solidarity on the Suncoast. Americans unite after Trump's inauguration, calling for peace and unity in these tumultuous times.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month, or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Gold fever is at an all-time high in the Sunshine State with the new Gold Rush Doubler family of scratch-off games. Everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. With over $1 billion in total cash prizes, the Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller, The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
In town, on the town,
The Mark offers landmark living in the center of everything you love about Sarasota. Priced from the 700s, spacious residences and elevated club-level amenities create a private oasis in the sky. Promenade shopping and dining put the best of downtown downstairs. Sales gallery open daily at the corner of Pineapple and State Street just south of Maine. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by Coulter.
Thinking about having surgery can be a scary thing. And to take somebody who's in severe pain, bring them in, take good care of them, and then get them out and back to their life is huge. We focus on minimally invasive approaches when possible, and oftentimes people can be back up on their feet in a day or two with a whole lot less pain than before surgery. We fix people's lives. We do.
Well, Bob, we, I think, did pretty well considering what could have happened here with the
storms. The National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center putting out those advisories earlier in the day on Sunday, suggesting that we were in a high risk. I've never seen a high risk for our area. That was kind of a little bit scary at one point, but luckily we got through. There wasn't any major damage here. We have had some damage around to the north of us and to the east. You showed that in Miami, but things are over for that matter as far as that goes. But this is surprisingly Severe Weather Awareness Week, and we were aware of it yesterday. As a result of the storms that moved on through. This was from the Lightning, where the Lightning hockey team plays in Tampa, Amalie Arena, and Damon Powers getting the shot. Pretty apropos, as you say, last night that happened. And this is Lightning Safety Day today on Monday. And if you hear the thunder roar, get indoors. Get a look at the lightning deaths that occurred in 2016. Had 38. That's a little bit below average. The most, though, right here in Florida, sunny Florida, known as the lightning capital of North America, along the west coast from Tampa to Lakeland, all the way down south into Fort Myers. We had 2 here, 1 in Manatee and 1 in Sarasota last year. Now here's the Van-Ways webcam showing some high surf today. It's still around, still a problem. Rip current advisory remains in effect, small craft advisory as well. No real threat of any significant rainfall. We could see a passing sprinkle or two this evening, but we're not anticipating any measurable precipitation. Windy through late tonight, then it will subside. A mild Tuesday, another cold front arrives late Thursday and Friday morning. Will cool us down. We're not anticipating anything rough with this next front. The air will be just too dry out ahead of it. And as far as rainfall totals go, for the past 24 hours, we had some areas that saw over 1.5 inches of rainfall right there near Osprey, one little pocket, and near Northport and just to the west there along I-75, 1.5 inches. As far as our current conditions go, a few clouds, 67 degrees, the dew point temperature now at 57. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 22. And starting to come down a little bit, still gusting as high as 30. And the high today was 73. The low this morning was 61. We're going to be closer to these numbers tomorrow with low temperatures expected into the mid-50s for the most part and highs in the low 70s. 0.06 of an inch of rainfall just today, although we had over 1/2 inch reported at the airport. We are looking at not a lot of rain for the rest of the week and into the weekend, despite we'll see 2 cold fronts move through over the next 7 days. 64 in Tallahassee, Jacksonville at 61, 65 now in Orlando. So temperatures all pretty much in the 60s, into the upper 60s right now in places like Venice, Inglewood, Northport, Mayaca City. Braden, you're at 68 as well. The Gulf water temperature still warm for this time of year at 70, but that's going to chill out by next week. That number will be down into the mid-60s for the most part. Well, the hourly forecast looks good tomorrow. Another nice day expected tomorrow here along the Sun Coast with highs into the low 70s, lots of sunshine around, and no real threat of any rainfall. Buoy data still showing seas, though, up to 14, 17, and even 15-foot waves out there in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's going to take a while for the seas to calm down. So we're not looking at any kind of relief of that advisory, of the high surf advisory, for at least the next 12 hours, and then the seas will start to calm down by tomorrow evening. Well, sunshine, plenty of it anticipated right on in through tomorrow, but here comes the next cold front. It will move down on Thursday night. That nor'easter is going to continue to cause a problem, a very significant problem over the northeast. Temperatures fairly mild across much of the U.S. into the 30s and 40s over the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Well, and for boaters, it's not very good. Obviously, a small craft advisory will stick with us, subsiding by tomorrow afternoon, and the Tuesday high 73, and then we'll get into the mid-70s Wednesday and Thursday, so slightly above average. We cool down, though, as a couple of fronts move through. Highs on Sunday only into the mid-60s. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Southeastern Guide Dogs in Palmetto being recognized for its efforts to improve mental health in veterans. the organization receiving the VETI Award at the Academy of United States Veterans Presidential Inaugural Ball in Washington. Southeastern Guide Dogs was one of 6 service organizations recognized for its dedication to veterans and their families. The VETI Award recognizes the impact that these service dogs and therapy dogs have on our veterans.
Hi, I'm Linda Carson. Coming up, we'll take you to Linger Lodge and show you why everybody gets so excited about this place.
This week, Donald Trump after a historic inauguration, the 45th president now on the job, facing protests and questions about how he'll lead and unite Americans. A new era in Washington begins. This is Where America Turns. World News Tonight with David Muir.
You might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, the world-renowned River Dance stops by for a preview. Plus, our celebrity makeup artist has beauty favorites and tsunami in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Look, I'm not an ideologue. I am an originalist.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a sofa covered in fabric that's kid-proof? Now you can! Introducing Kid-Proof by Row, now at Bacon's Furniture. For a limited time only, save 40% off Kids-Proof sofas at Bacon. Just look for the little green hand and select from hundreds of different fabrics that resist almost anything life throws at it. Some fabrics repel liquid, and all the amazing styles and comfortable fabrics are easy to clean. Kid-Proof sofas, now 40% off at Bacon's Furniture in Sarasota.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Suncoast is a great place to call home because there's always something around the corner to amaze and entertain you.
ABC7's Linda Carson takes us to visit a unique and fascinating treasure in a place we call home.
Linger Lodge in Manatee County was once called one of the 5 weirdest restaurants in the country by NBC weatherman Al Roker. Drop by for lunch or dinner and you'll understand why. Linger Lodge started in 1945 as a fishing and hunting camp set in the midst of hundreds of acres of wilderness on the Braden River. All kind of animals were around.
The building was originally a 2-story log cabin that burnt down in the late 50s.
Then in 1965, a couple from Milwaukee, Frank and Elaine Gamsky, bought it.
I think Mr. Gamsky, Frank Gamsky, who ultimately did most of the taxiderming, took over in the late 60s. And he's responsible for pretty much all of the eclectic decor.
Gamsky was a vet by trade and took up taxidermy as a hobby. Most of the creatures on the walls are from the surrounding woods and waters. Gamsky added some weird touches of his own.
Did you notice that sign over there that's Linger Lodge?
Yeah.
That's all made out of pygmy rattlers.
At first, there was only a bar with pool tables.
It said that one of Frank's boys went to culinary school and then the restaurant part of it was created.
In recent years, 2 decks have been added so you can dine looking over the river. It's a popular place.
We have a lot of kayak groups come here, and it takes most kayakers about an hour 15, hour and a half to get to Jiggs Landing, and then they'll turn around and come back for lunch.
There's also a campground with 105 sites, some permanent, some for RVs. But it's the restaurant that attracts the most attention.
Well, our signature dishes are what we consider unique here. We serve alligator, fried green tomato, frog legs. Those are the things. We have a unique gumbo.
Alligator chowder and catfish are also big sellers. A lot of famous people have visited Linger Lodge.
Jeb Bush and George Bush have been here. The wall is full of celebrities. Now, I will say that I'm not sure that all of that was true, because there is also an alligator on the wall with a guy's leg hanging out of it. That purportedly was true, that he wrestled the alligator and lost.
Former owner Frank Gamsky, the man responsible for all of the taxidermy, still lives several doors down from Linger Lodge, and he is highly involved in the Braden River Historical Society. Scott and Haley?
Thank you, Linda. It is a very unique place.
Yes, I've been there.
You have to experience it in person. Yeah.
Interesting enough. And the kayaking is good. Really, it is. It's Braden River all the way there, and it takes an hour. It should be a lot of fun. I'll try it one day. I know a lot of people still do it. Not the best kayaking day today, but inland not too bad, away from the heavy surf, and looks to be a lot better tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for joining us. World News Tonight with David Muir is coming up.
We'll see you tonight at 11.